And I think that, I feel like this is almost Game of Thrones, and I'm, the mother of dragons. Like, that's my rightful throne.
That's awesome.
Silencer market is something that I probably created in the late 90s and early 2000s in this country. And Remington handed it to Silencer Co. And Dead Air snuck in there like a, fucking side chick and took half of it. I mean, 8.6 is cool, and I had a lot of naysayers with 300 blackout, and now even within the industry, the gun industry not so much, but the ammo industry is still. They're just so spoiled by COVID and now election stuff. They're a bunch of. I mean, they just, nobody wants to be innovative. Everybody just wants to keep their job.
I hate QD stuff. It's just added weight and more shit that doesn't work. I've got an RC2 that I had to shoot off because it wouldn't come off, and I posted a video on shooting it off because that's what the manual told me.
Yeah. I think advanced armament created an atmosphere and a market condition which Silencer Co. took advantage of, and that's pretty awesome of them. And Dead Air rode, the tides of. But Dead Air is a marketing company, and it had, it's backed by a guy with some money, and, they don't value engineering. I just think they're a joke. But, it's not all them. I mean, you think, when we came out with the Quickie Mount, the Cherry Bomb, and our silencers, we took a lot of criticism early on, and the Chemo was the industry standard, and that heavy piece of shit. And now everyone just copies our mounts. It's just because we're right. But I don't take Dead Air seriously as a company. I think they're ridiculous. I would never buy something from them. I would tell everyone I know not to buy something from them. But, and there's silencers that I like in the industry, but Dead Air is not a real company. Those guys sit in a little place in, where are they, Utah, Salt Lake City somewhere.
Rarely is something machined in their manufacturing facility.
Yeah, and they do some marketing and some design stuff, and they send it to a manufacturer 3,000 miles away that produces stuff, QCs it, and ships it for them.
And well, that's what I thought about Silencer Co., honestly, to begin with.
Company now than they were when they started. They have a real manufacturing facility. They have real QC. They have real engineers. I mean, I think they half-ass it, and they're not great at it. But I have a lot more respect for them than I do Dead Air. If you're not QCing your product before it goes out, if you never see it, I don't take it seriously.
No, I don't blame you.
I want to throw in a non-scripted question real quick, because just for my personal interest, Dead Air Wolverine is kind of the industry leader for suppressing the AK platform. If you were to tell an AK person to look at a can, what would that can be?
I just think that industry leader for an AK can, that's like saying that you're the industry leading nipple ring maker for people with 3 nipples. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
AK. Like when you show me a tier 1 group, people that are really killing people, that's not genocide, with an AK, then I'll care. It's just, I don't know, you vent all that gas out of that piston that people think's important, and it's loud as fuck. Who cares? Like, it's just.
I like them loud as fuck. I don't give a shit.
That's cool, but I think that's where we need to differentiate. People aren't honest. Like, I like guns. And when you ask me about my gun collection, like, I have single action revolvers, lever actions, belt fed machine guns, modern stuff, old stuff. Like, there's not a firearm that I'm not interested in. But I'm not a pretender. and I'm not a LARPer, I'm not a cloner, and I don't think there's anything wrong with any of those things. It's just like my life and my companies have been dedicated to doing things that matter, that are relevant for guys that are trying to kill terrorists, where, you know, hopefully I can die where we still don't have an invasion on this land, but by another military. You know, if people want to do clones for Wolverine and go LARPing, like, fucking great. It's just not something I'm going to devote any time or energy to, because, you know, I like doing real shit more than I like money. So I'm sorry. I just don't like the AK is a cool gun. I like it. I've got a bunch in my collection, but it's not a real gun by modern standards. Like it's just, it's a cool piece of history. It's not relevant. The AK is not relevant. So I just don't spend time and energy on it. And I'm not trying to be an ass to you, and I'm sorry. I know it comes off that way. But it's like, if that's the one thing that dead air can have, like, God bless them. Take it. Because who gives
That's
a
the KB effect.
That's a fair and honest answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I have a few more before Adam jumps in. Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior or Andre the Giant? Why?
Well, the Ultimate Warrior and Hogan are big gay. Like Andre, man, like man, he's a legend. Yeah, you know, for me, I grew up in the South. Like that WWF bullshit was just circus and theatrics. I like the bar fight of the South. You know, I like Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Arn Anderson.
Woo! Hell yeah.
Anderson,
WCW.
That's my favorite. And, you know, my buddy, so I'm good friends with Adam Scherr, who plays Braun Strowman on WWE now. And he introduced me to Arn Anderson probably 6 or 7 years ago when I went to an event and took me backstage. And, you know, that's like the coolest meeting I've ever had, where someone introduces me to someone. Like most
fucking
people.
Four Horsemen, man.
Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
So to me,
Four Horsemen.
like, hear the
Deal
shit
with them.
Kid. And, you know, so the Ultimate Warrior, what a silly fuck. And Hulk Hogan was the worst wrestler of all time. Now, he did give good promos, like he was, but it's bullshit compared to Son of a Plumber, Dusty Rhodes, or Ric Flair, or Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Like,
what you gonna do, brother?
Yeah, I mean, that's all the shit I love. Like
when dead air runs wild on you.
Oh yeah.
So I was at dinner with my mom's house. At my mom's house, God, it says the 10th. So a week ago, last Sunday, I was there, and she broke something out from my childhood that I haven't seen in a while, and I had to take a picture with it. So everybody, I get it, gay alert, get ready. But Kevin, I think you'll appreciate this.
Ultimate Warrior.
God, those I had the Hulk
fucking
Hogan
wrestling buddy.
I had the Hulk Hogan.
Do you
one.
remember that shit?
That's a big game. I got something. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. What do you got?
If you want to talk WWF, there were a few guys. JYD, Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog.
Shit.
Yep.
Oh man,
I remember the cartoon.
Hell yeah.
Did you watch the cartoon on Saturday mornings?
Yeah,
I remember
but
that.
If you the real Junkyard Dog, WWE or F was the later part of his career, right before he died. Go watch like Mid-South with him. He was incredible. What a personality! How good he was on the mic. He was The Rock before The Rock was The Rock. He was great. So then I always loved.
Okay.
So Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff.
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
He was-
Yep.
Orndorff, man.
He was great. And Jesse Ventura.
The
Yep.
body.
The body. Yep.
The body.
He was,
Dude, did you pull those off your nightstand?
What's it?
Did you pull those off your nightstand?
Yeah. They come out of the fire.
we got a bunch of grown men playing show and tell with dolls.
I know. It's pretty great.
love
But
it.
you know,
I love
I got
it.
all because like my aunts and uncles would get me these for Christmas, and they didn't. They just knew I loved wrestling. They didn't understand the difference between, you know, and also the NWA or WCW at the time didn't do as good with the toys and marketing as the WWF did. They were always very good at that. So those are the toys you could find when I was like 10 or 12 years old.
But dude, I gotta ask you the question. What, you're ATL, bro.
One for the money, yes sir. Two for the show.
You want me to tell you
what the hell?
Well, they're cool. I don't know Big Boy, but Andre, so I started dating this Eritrean girl like 20 so years ago. And when she was in her late teens, she was one of the black video hoes in Atlanta. And, but she's Eritrean, so she's real light-skinned and stuff, and I don't know, looks maybe islandese. But she was friends, so one of her good friends was Andre's girlfriend. So I would see him occasionally. We'd have dinner with him. He was a vegan over 20 years ago and a hippie.
Wow.
And he'd already given up music. And he was doing poetry readings and all kinds of weird stuff. Yeah, I love Outkast. I mean, I grew up in Atlanta.
So I want to get back to innovation, and I know Kevin, you've talked about you spend the money on all this because that's your thing's innovating. So I was at Bass Pro the other day, and I noticed like they're starting to sell those polymer cased rounds. And my question to you is this an innovation or is it a fucking gimmick? Like, what's going on? Because maybe you're the godfather of 300 Blackout and 86, so you know a couple things about rounds. And what the fuck is going on with these polymer cased rounds?
I mean, I think when you say Bass Pro and innovation in one sentence, you know you.
Yeah. Well, they're selling them.
I want to go to Africa, and if all I can shoot is fucking blue-balled monkeys because they're free, like.
Yeah,
I would plug a baboon, dude.
Here's my deal. Here's my deal, Cape. I took my dad because my dad's getting older, and I took my dad to SCI, and we talked to Rad. And that was the year I dropped off the
thank you.
all that shit.
Oh, it's in the podcast room. Thank you.
I tried to get him to go, and he's more redneck than I am. And he was like, no, I don't get on planes, and I'm not going there because the shit there will kill me. So,
well, no, I mean, if you want, you should come. And, you know, the thing is, I don't own the whole place. Like, it's 480,000 acres.
That's Mr. Pringle.
Yeah, Mr. Pringle. And I have a home there, and, you know, they treat me good. But there's always hunters there when I'm there, and you know, part of when I go, part of it is, you know, R&D and marketing, and part of it is I go there just to get away. And you know, Andrew and I have a beach house there, and I go fishing and fuck off. And
my thing is, it's tough. I mean, first world problems, it's tough to find people who
know something,
have the time and the finances the exact same time that you have the time and the finances to be able to go across country somewhere.
You're a sorority girl? Why you need somebody to go with you? Be a grown-ass man.
Well,
I wish we were recording that.
Oh, we need Kevin more often, man.
Perfect.
So I'm recording right now, and I will rebut you because you will see what I'm talking about when I say this. The kill is important, but what's more important to me is probably the same shit that's more important to you. Sitting around that campfire after the kill and hanging with Rad and hanging with Andrew and talking about the day and what you're going to do different and just the camaraderie. That's what, other than conservation, that's what hunting means to me. When I grew up in a hunting family, and it wasn't about what you killed. I mean, everybody wanted to kill the biggest thing that walked with whitetail, but it was more about the camaraderie.
No, that's all cool. I mean, for me, it's a little different. Like, I spend half my life there, so
yes,
you know, half of me going there is to keep me from fucking slitting my wrist. I have no anxiety there. I'm free there, and it gives me time to unwind and relax and think through problems that we're having at work or what I need to do to move forward and what's in the best interest of the company and what's in my best interest. And you know what I've found is in my best interest is for me to be alone half the time.
I can respect that.
Yeah. And you know, it wasn't by choice originally, but it's how it's ended up. And yes, I do agree that hunting, the fellowship, the companionship, the laughter, those things are what makes it for most people. And it's a big part of it for me. But it's like, here's the stage I'm in my life. When I'm there, half the time I hunt alone.
Mm-hmm.
I go out by myself. I hunt alone. I do everything by myself.
Hey, no PH, no tracker?
No. And
hell yeah, good for you.
if I need help loading, I'll send them or I'll go get them and bring them back. But the other half the time is hanging out with Rad and Andrew and Jose or whoever's there. And half the time now in camp, there's people there that go that's where I go, or they have the fix or whatever the thing is. And I enjoy that. But there's, half the nights I eat at my house by myself and cook something, or my cook, I have a maid that's a cook and she fixes me something and I don't leave. But for years it was just sharing it. But now a lot of it's just for myself. And
I think that's the change that Africa gave you.
What's it?
I said, I think that's the change that Africa gave you.
Well, yeah, it's probably that age. I'm 50 and fuck. I mean, I've been a millionaire since I was 20, maybe 21. So, I've had more of my life in this position, having a company, having employees, making these decisions than I had from the time there until the time I was born.
Yeah.
50% more time now doing this. So, like, I'm over a lot of just like normal life, improving things. And like, I mean, I'm one of the few people I know one or two, that I do what I want when I want because I want to. And I don't think there's a lot of people that can say that. And I think that's why it gives me so much freedom. And that's why, too, we want to draw this back full circle to the company. When I tell you something changes hunting or it changes shooting or it changes the industry, you don't have to believe me, but you should, because I'm not trying to get your money. Like, I want you to support something we're doing.
Right.
Like, we did 8.6. I'm not an ammo company. I don't profit from it. It changes hunting. It changes shooting. You should support it. And if you don't want to buy from me because I'm a dick, that's fine. Tell Ruger or tell Noveski or tell Daniel Defense or tell Smith & Wesson or whoever it is, Hornady, Federal, to load it and do it, because it's going to enhance your experience no matter what you're doing. And so, this is just something I've given my life to, and I've not done it for popularity. I've not done it necessarily to make money. I'm very grateful that I've been able to make money. I didn't have to have a real job. But it's something I'm still so passionate about. I'm true to it. I don't lie about it. I don't bullshit. If we do something and I say it's fucking awesome, it is. Because the things that aren't awesome that most companies would bring out, I shelve and I put in the garbage, because our credibility is everything. And now what am I working for now? Like, I'm working for a legacy. I'm working to build our company because, like I said, I'm giving the company to my employees, not even my family.
Yeah, and I heard that.
Yeah, and I want them to be true and loyal, and I want them to work for something that provides a legacy for them.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, so, Kevin, I've watched a lot of videos, and you've stated many times you want to take back the silencer market. Like, you want to take it back, and obviously you have 2 new cans coming out there, 5.56, which are awesome. But on top of that, like, what other plans do you have moving forward to take that market back? Do we have a lot more cans coming out in the next couple of years, or like, what's your game plan?
Yeah, within this next year, you should see probably half a dozen to 7 or 8 cans, 2 5.56 cans, a 46 caliber can, but modular cans, hub compatible cans, things that I wouldn't want to do, but that's what the industry now accepts because of silencer code, quite honestly. Yeah. And I think that, I feel like this is almost Game of Thrones, and I'm, the mother of dragons. Like, that's my rightful throne.
That's awesome.
Silencer market is something that I probably created, in the late 90s and early 2000s in this country. And Remington handed it to Silencer Co. And Dead Air snuck in there like a, fucking side chick and took half of it.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it back.
So
Don't get into side chick.
So
I
is there a
want
way,
one of those.
Kevin? I'm not sure. Like the Erectors are awesome can, the 22 and the 9mm. Is there a way to take that same design eventually and integrate into a bigger caliber, like a rifle round?
We could, but
Why?
I don't think it serves the same purpose.
Okay.
Like JK Armament, Joke Armament, they do it. And, it's funny because the Erector isn't necessarily something I would do. That was just my response to all of these modular cans coming out. And I'm like, you're so half-assed. It's like, it's all halfway crooks. It's like either be modular or don't. I think you'll see a lot of changes in our rimfire cans and all we'll have a complete silencer line. It'll be in stainless steel. It'll be ultra lightweight with technology that we've developed. And we'll beat everyone in performance. It's like we're doing all the 5.56 cans. The M4 2000 is still the quietest can. I did that can 15 years ago.
That's crazy.
And this is the first can of that size and weight that outperforms it.
So I don't want to go down a super long rabbit hole. I know it's getting late and you're getting old, so you got to go to bed soon. But
Yeah, your mom on me.
yeah,
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna. You know what? Here's one for the reals, boys. If you like freaking 70-year-old ass, I'll give you the number. But so here's the deal. In principle, silencers are fucking simple.
Yeah.
And I like that eyebrow raise right there. You really liked that. Like, if you become my stepdad, you owe me back Christmas presents for like
I
the
don't know you
last.
shit.
Yes, you do. You're gonna fucking play ball. You're gonna throw ball with me in the fucking yard.
I'll wear you out, you little fat fuck. You'll be right.
Look, Kevin
man.
legitimately the right age to be my dad, though. So
Silencers in principle, they're fucking simple. I mean, they're simple. Baffles.
Kinda.
All right, glad you said that. But what people don't understand is, I'm not asking you to go down and I'm not asking you to take the bait and start shitting on people. But what a lot of consumers don't understand is they see, oh, the Hux can met the requirement. The RC3 met the requirement. Whatever the new shiny flashy thing is met the requirement. Why can't silencers just be silent?
Well, silent, there's God's physics. That's the first answer. So if you got a supersonic cartridge, we can't make it silent.
Right.
The flow-through stuff is just big gay. That's an Army thing that started a long time ago, guys. And, if you want flow-through, just put a flash hider on the guns. You're wearing Peltors anyway.
Right.
Whether CGS or Huxworks OSS, you're louder than a 22 pistol without a silencer and just shy of a 9mm unsilenced pistol. It's ridiculously loud, and there's a giant fireball out of the end. So no dudes that really shoot people are going to use the RC3. Surefire is okay. They're a pretty good silencer company. They made some quiet things. They've won some contracts. They made some durable things. They've done good with manufacturing. That RC3 is a fucking turd. And it's got a fireball, a giant fireball comes out of it. So that, part of a silencer is a signature reduction device. So you need to disguise the flash, the sound, where the shot comes from, and that big fireball lets people know where you are. So that's dumb.
Yep.
Gotcha. But you're doing something different, and that's what I was leaning towards. Is you're marketing to some? I guess you're doing military stuff, but in other aspects and in the main aspect, the bread and butter, like at this point on the surface, is you're marketing to the consumer. So you're taking pride in quiet and light.
I think what I do is tend to typically make silencers that I'll use with my experience. And there's no one in the industry currently that has near the experience I have, military or civilian wise. And, the military silencers, whether we're building them for, tier one groups, or we're building them for big SOCOM, or we're building them for the Brits or the French or the Norwegians, Swedens, take your pick. And what I want for my shooting and my hunting, they're normally not the same things. So, if we sell a silencer, is something that I would spend that much money on personally.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that's the best business practice, but it's the way I'm able to be honest.
That's all you can do, though.
Well, I think it's the thing you should do. I don't think it's the thing, like Marty Daniel doesn't do that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
guy that owns Huxworks doesn't do that.
But in the end of the day, all you have is your balls and your word. So, I mean,
it's what I think, but you also have to rely on my experience, where I think I probably shoot and hunt and use a gun probably like 18,000% more than most gun company owners.
that's what I was going to say too. Is you're actually in the field doing the R&D when
I think I'm part of testing. I'm part of development, design. I go to the testing. I load the mags. I go, do the field use. I do the laboratory stuff. I pitch it to the military. And 6 months out of the year, I have a rifle slung and in my hands. And that's not because I'm pretending to LARP. It's because I'm actually out there killing shit for us to eat.
That's awesome.
A gun and a silencer with me half the time. I have one on me.
Dude,
and I'm using it. And I'm not paranoid or trying to be cool. Like, I don't carry a pistol a lot of times. Like, I don't give a fuck. But, when I'm in Africa, like my last trip to Africa, I was there 84 days. I hunted 82 days.
Fuck. That's taxing, boy. That's taxing.
Oh yeah, that's why I keep getting stronger and better looking with age. As you said, are simple. It's high margin. And I should own it. And we've neglected it because we've been building guns. And these douchebags don't get a free pass anymore.
No,
Daddy gets a big piece of chicken, like we talked about.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Hell yeah.
when is that coming? I'm ready to see that. I'm ready to see the king come back.
It's coming.
I like it. Kevin, I want to share. We talked about Africa a little bit more, but I know Matt has some questions too about Africa. We want to kind of get into that. So, Matt, why don't you take it up about Africa?
Growing up in Idaho, mule deer, upland game, stuff like that. And I understand the history of great hunters like Roosevelt, Corbett, Hemingway. What drew you to Africa for the first time, and how did it change your perspective in life? How did it change your perspective in hunting? Tell us.
Yeah.
Dude, that's killer.
It's a cool question. Thank you. I think if you read the shit about me online, you read stuff about me and my ex-wife, and, it's really unfortunate. But, I had full custody of my kids. I have 3 children. They're all a year apart since they were 6, 7, and 8. And, but, that was a hard 10 years for me and them, for rich white people. The hard 10 years, and it's, that's part of this equality sort of Me Too bullshit. So it's first world problems, but it's first world plus problems. And it was horrible for my children and me. But you're a parent. What the fuck do you do? And anyway, I think at the end of that, so so I have a son and 2 daughters, and that's the chronology. Once my daughters were leaving high school, I think, I didn't work for several years and only worked at Q part-time. I didn't want nannies raising my kids and shit like that. But I think I started doing research on Roosevelt and Hemingway, and and Corbett's cool. I have like one of his guns actually.
Oh, nice.
But
Griffin and Howe.
Yeah, no, this is you know London gun. This is a double rifle I have.
Double
But
rifle. Oh yeah.
but a Griffin and Howe is the Hemingway rifle that I have. But Hemingway and Roosevelt, in different ways, were at the time the most famous men in the world,
Yeah.
and had these magnificent lives and did all this crazy shit. And you think Hemingway didn't go to Africa until he was in his early 40s. So he had done World War I, World War II, the Spanish War, like all of this crazy shit Hemingway did. And then he went once in his 40s and once in his 60s. And half his fucking books are about Africa.
Yeah.
And Roosevelt was very wealthy, grew up in New York, to a very wealthy family. And he and his son spent 8 years in Africa hunting. Kermit was there, his son, the entire time. He went back and forth. And some of those animals are still in the Smithsonian today.
Yeah.
And they write about how Africa changed their lives. And I became inspired, and I felt very desperate. And I wanted and I longed for what these stories talked about. And I just committed to go and doing it because I was afraid dangerous game hunting in the near future could become not what it was, not a free range thing. It would become a high fence bullshit thing for rich people. And I want to experience wild Africa. And it's a fraction of what it was when Hemingway and Roosevelt were going.
Right.
But it's still there if you seek it out. Mozambique, wild Africa. Cameroon's wild Africa. Congo is wild Africa. The last time I was in Cameroon hunting, ISIS came on the property from western Nigeria. And
shit.
Special forces came in and removed us and killed them all.
Oh, damn.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, I was I was like, I got a 375 and 40 rounds of bar.
Yeah, talk about the ultimate hunt.
And we knew there was a body count. There was 9 of them. I was like, I feel okay. Let's fuck them up.
So if you would have got one of the ISIS guys, would that mean you would have the big 6, not the big 5?
I wouldn't consider them big anything. It's
That's
like
true.
a bunch of
It's facts. Speaking of that, did you get the big 5 yet?
No. I haven't. I mean, I would shoot a black rhino if it was a fair chase, if it was a free range hunt.
Okay.
But not a rhino. Like I could kill. Originally, the Dangerous 5, it was a black rhino. It's evolved to white rhino, but white rhino is very docile. You could shoot them with a handgun, so that's nothing that interests me.
Okay.
And I'm very, very involved in support of the conservation of them. And now we have over 15,000 white rhinos in Africa, where it was down below 500. So that's pretty awesome. But black rhinos are smaller but very aggressive, and they're very mean, and that's a real hunt. But a black rhino to shoot's $1 million.
Fuck.
So I don't know that I'll do that. But I don't like the tiny 10, the Dangerous 5. Like I don't hunt in those regards, and I don't care. Like I just do whatever I feel at the time. Like if there's an elephant hole that we can go do, I'm down. If that's going to help a village, if that's going to help an area, if that's going to help some wildlife, if there's some that need to be culled, like I'm good. For me, even now hunting trophies, like I shoot broken and skew horn, and I cull a lot, and like I don't care. I'm not trying to be like self-righteous and conservation's everything, but conservation is, if there weren't true conservation, which is hunting in Africa, there would be no animals. But I also don't give a fuck. Like I'm just down. I'm down to cull. I'm down to hunt. I love the adventure of it. I love the danger of it. I love buffalo hunts. And buffalo and hippo on land are the most dangerous, and those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Talking about SCI.
Yeah.
23. I was talking to Rad about planning a trip. It's a bucket list. I'm not asking for my sob story. I'm asking for the warm and fuzzies from you. I understand the aspect of some people on Reddit are going to say, oh, it's R&D. Oh, it's a tax write-off. Oh, it's whatever they want to call it.
You got to make 3 million to write one off. So fuck off.
So I've listened to your stuff. I've listened to your podcast. I've listened to it from taking Jay and Thomas and losing all the fucking footage.
Yeah, that was the best footage we've ever gotten.
Then taking Jose, then taking the three girls from throwing up in the plane all the way through them, you know, shooting animals that they never thought was possible to shoot and understanding conservation.
Yeah.
You know, Jose, Jay, Tori, Amy, Jess, all of these people. How does that make Kevin Brittingham feel?
I think it's all selfish. Like, you know, I have my children. I don't have a lot of other family. You know, I have a couple cousins that I adore. One just died last week from
Sorry to
brain.
hear about that.
And
that sucks.
yeah, it's cool. He's a cool guy. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not very religious, but I think I probably am a decent guy. And I think the more I do, the more comes to me.
Very
And
true.
I don't stay married to the money, and I don't worry about the money. I think Africa changed my life, and it changed people who had bigger lives than me, changed their lives. And it's something I would love for everyone I care about to experience. And I don't know, I have a lot of flaws, but I think something that I have that most people don't is I'm probably more generous, and I will sacrifice for other people to have that I care about. But I think it's a selfish thing still. It makes me feel good. And I've experienced a freedom in Africa that I've never felt here. I feel more at home in Africa than I do here. And I want everyone that I care about to experience that. And, you know, it doesn't always work out, but I think, you know, when we talk about Jose or we talk about Amy and Jess and Tori and, you know, I hope to die with no money and to give it away and that it benefits other people. And, you know, like, I don't think that I own the company. I don't think I own, you know, like, I live in an 8,000 square foot mansion. I'm a caretaker. I'm a caretaker for the company. I'm a caretaker for this place, you know, and I'm going to selfishly do what I want. But I think I do value experience more than I value things. But, you know, I got to have money to do these things. Mm-hmm. But part of it, like you said earlier, you want to share it with somebody. And I want to expose everyone I care about to these things. And some of that selfish just makes me feel good because I give them something they wouldn't have otherwise, or something they don't understand that they should thrive for, or they should, you know, aspire to have. And it's never a thing. You know, it's an experience. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Like watching Jose, and we can poke fun and we can talk about how long it took him to climb up the hill to see the kudu, and then him saying, damn, that's a big ass deer. Or watching Jess or Tori or Amy, you know, asking the damn plane to do a loop-de-loop or whatever the fuck they said, and throwing up in your plane and doing all this bullshit. But like doing the conservation stuff, like seeing that shit, it's got to give you the warm and fuzzies.
But, you know, I think I live life correctly. You know, I haven't paid my own bills in 20 years, 25 years maybe now. But I do think it's interesting. Like, I don't spend a ton of money. I just don't by my life. And I get a paycheck from Q, and I have other income. And my assistant, it's like, when I get this much money in my bank account, put it in this. And, you know, for instance, when I went to get a new car a couple years ago, I don't know how to check my balance online. So I don't ever know if I have $5,000 or $500,000 in my checking account. Like, I don't know how much money I have. I try not to focus on it. I don't think about it. You know, for me, I'm rich because I don't have to worry about rent and I can go out to eat whenever I want. And that's how I measure my life. Beyond that, I don't give a fuck. Like,
That's awesome.
If you can do that, you're rich. You know, you don't have to have a fucking plane. You don't have to have all this other shit. If you don't worry about rent and you can go out and eat whenever you want, you can buy your friends a beer and you can buy them a steak, you're a rich person. And that's how I measure my life.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So like, the last time I wanted to buy a vehicle, I have to call my assistant and I'm like, hey, I want to buy this vehicle. She's like, all right. And I was like, I don't know how much money I have. Do you need to transfer money? And she's like, well, how much is it? And I tell her, and she's like, well, you can buy 3.5 of them today.
Cool.
Okay. And, you know, to me, like, that's a humble brag, but it's also, it's true. And to me, if I can have an F-150 or I can have an F-150, a Range Rover, a Lamborghini, and a Bentley, or I can have an F-150.
Chris Barrett now.
Yeah, or I can have an F-150 and I can take all my friends to Africa and I can pay for their trophies and I can pay for their taxidermy and I can give them a once-in-a-lifetime experience and I can get them inspired to do bigger things. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's what I'm selfish, but I feel good about it, but it's the right thing.
Talk about Johnny Noveski for just a second, because I don't think he gets the credit he's deserved.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I will say, if you want to know Johnny Noveski, he was brilliant. Probably like autistic or something. Very high IQ. He had a passion for military and the firearms industry. He had severe social anxiety where he couldn't do SHOT Show and he couldn't do public experiences or appearances. And he... his company was even getting so big he couldn't go anymore. He was trying to sell it when he died. But no, Johnny was special, but you know, I mean, it was part of me adores Johnny and part of me hates him. Like, I wanted him to step up and be able to handle it, and he couldn't. Mm-hmm. You know, and like, I remember when I gave his eulogy and I came out of the church and there was this super right-wing group that was there and they questioned me. They thought that, you know, Johnny died in a car crash. Mm-hmm. They thought, oh, his brake line was cut. But Johnny drove an 84 Land Cruiser. And he was going like 90 miles an hour in the ice and snow. Johnny was suicidal. And Johnny was drunk when he died. You know, it was sad. It was tragic. And no one feel bad for him or hate him. You know, like, it was selfish. And I also understand it.
You boys were cut from, I don't want to say the same, but similar cloths when it comes to innovation, it comes to ideas and things to a point. And I know you guys were friends, and it's like
Johnny and I and Trey Knight connected on a level where we loved innovation, and we've never felt comfortable. And Johnny couldn't really find his place. I think there's been no innovation since Johnny died. I love Lorena, you know, his widow, but she doesn't know guns, and she loves marketing, and that's what she wants it to be, and she's wanted to honor him, and I honor her in the fact that she's continued that company for more than 10 years since he died. I thought it'd be gone in 2 years.
I'll be real honest, I knew of the legend of Noveski, but until I heard you talking about it on your podcast, I didn't own one. And, you know, the first thing I bought once it was done was a chainsaw, and it wasn't for anything other than I like seeing, and I'm a sentimental guy. I don't cry a lot. I don't get into that, but I'm sentimental. So when I know that,
go through
rain is,
enjoy.
But like Lorena's doing her shit and she's doing her thing, and I hope she's happy now. But like seeing her kids involved and like seeing Johnny's kids involved in things, it's like, dude, you know, I'm going to support. So, you know, I bought a chainsaw, and it's like,
No,
dude,
cool. That's cool.
I want to see that.
Yeah, Elgin and Abe are involved, and that's cool. Like, they were little kids when he died. No, and he raised them to be men, and they both are. You know, he didn't raise. You know, he taught me a lot about personal shit, and he and I were going through it, but differently at the time. And he was raising his boys to be men. He wasn't raising them to be boys, and it shows now. You know, I mean, I don't know what to say about it. Johnny,
I really hope you do one. I really hope one day there's enough content for you to make a Legend of Johnny Noveski podcast. Really hope there is. I know I've listened to.
Oh, I have so many stories. Yeah, I mean,
I've listened to Lorena's podcast and I appreciated that, but I would love for you to bring on. I'm sure there's a third man. I'm sure there's always a third guy and a fourth guy.
I will say this, like, I don't give a fuck if Johnny's dead or not. It's not because he's dead to honor him. And, you know, I'm saying Lorena, I was the first person she called when he died. He and I were close.
I just want to hear it one day, buddy, and that's all I want to say about it.
No, part of me hates him for it. He was fucking awesome. He was different. And I have tons of stories about him. Like, he was just a different cat, man. He saw things and thought about things differently. You know, Lorena will say something different, but I'll tell you what Johnny told me that logo is. Independent trucks, skateboard trucks.
Yeah, I used to ride them, bro.
Oh, shit.
So
I used to ride them.
Lorena says it's something else, but that's not what Johnny told me.
Seriously, I didn't mean to get you in your feelings, but I really think that next time you bring this podcast,
it doesn't bother me. Like,
no, but next time you bring the podcast back, you know, Thomas, make sure that you have a hard drive with a hard drive with a hard drive. Jay, make sure you set the alarm and wake up on time and show up.
Jay needs to work out and stop eating fucking Twinkies. That fat fuck.
Well, I can't speak. I'm fat and I like Krispy Kreme.
Mike loves Twinkies and Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, but bro, seriously, you are the only fucking person that could do justice of a podcast titled The Legend of Johnny Noveski.
Amen.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, y'all. We want to thank Kevin Brittingham and Q for stopping by.
Oh, yeah.
We greatly appreciate you. We appreciate everything you've done for our humble podcast.
Yeah.
It was great to get to sit down and talk with Kevin, get to split that up into 2 different podcasts, a lot of insight, a good way to just, you know, kind of peel back social media and really see the man behind the man behind the myth, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, Adam, Mike, you guys got any last words?
Guys, if you don't know where to find us, whiskeyandwinch.com. Go over there. You can find all the merch. You can find links to all of our platforms. You can find our forums, everything on there, guys. But hey, big shout out to Kevin, Q. We appreciate y'all.